I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, you've had thoughts before of moving to North Carolina, maybe Tennessee, Georgia. Is it actually cheaper to live in those states, or is Orlando really the hottest place to live? I'll tell you that and more. It's just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate.
If you've been threatened by the IRS, you're not helpless. I'm attorney Justin Clark. You have the power to fight wage garnishments and to fight levies on your account. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your life.
This is a special offer from IQ Power Solar.
Stop paying high electric bills with a solar power system from IQ Power Solar. And now it's never been easier. IQ Power Solar can give you immediate electric bill relief right now when you go solar. IQ Power Solar will reimburse you for your very next electric bill. Plus, if you're a first responder, IQ Power Solar will pay your program payment for the rest of the year. Call 407-585-1018 now or visit iqpowersolar.com.
And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the show. Any questions whatsoever, I want you to feel free to call right now. The phone number, 407-205-0400. People are standing by right now to answer your questions. That's what the phone number is for. Also, if you want to start your house hunt, you want to find your dream home this weekend, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgages standing by, very same phone number. And by the way, Dallas has invited me for a crab boil at his house tonight, so today would be extra special if you could call Dallas. Any mortgage needs, you want to get pre-qualified, Dallas is standing by now, 407-205-0400. Excellent show today. You will not want to miss one single minute. And now it's time for the opening statement. The opening statement today is brought to you by my very good friend, Stephen Bader, the COO of IQ Power Solar. As you know, I have solar panels. I went solar about a year ago now. My electricity bill during this very hot summer, about $50 a month. What was it last summer? $500 a month, and I saved money on taxes. I would have owed $10,000 to the IRS last year had I not gone solar. But because I went solar, I paid zero. Please, Steve, tell me how you did it.
Live here on site with the COO of IQ Power Solar, Stephen Bader. I already had solar installed on my house. I wanted to see his crew in action against Steve. You must admit, this is the most talented crew in all of solar.
I'm pretty happy with it.
The guys are doing a great job up there, obviously, professional. I mean, solar can have some people and some businesses that aren't so good. What separates IQ Power Solar?
Well, it's really valuable to have your own install crew instead of subcontractors, etc. So these guys work together year after year. They've done a lot of trainings together. Every time there's a new product that comes to market, they go to manufacturer trainings. We're actually a warranty center for a lot of manufacturers, which is really cool, and it distinguishes us, especially when it comes to servicing. But really, it's just about cohesiveness. You know, these guys, they get here in the morning, they review the engineer drawings together. Sometimes they review the drawings in the office on a chalkboard environment when there's problems and stuff like that. But they lay it out and then just execute. So it's really cool when they have a lot of experience together, just like anything else.
There's something to be said for one truck, two trucks, three trucks, all with the logo on there. Everyone has the same shirt, IQ Power Solar. I mean, this is a real professional organization.
We try.
And Stephen Bader, IQ Power Solar, thanks for coming out today.
Of course.
I'm going to tell you today why you should be fired up about living in Florida. And let me tell you, that group that the Orlando Sentinel bashes all the time, the Visit Florida or whatever, they don't pay me for this. So I don't want you to think that I have an agenda here. I don't. But I think it's important that you know how good we have it right now in Florida, especially real estate-wise. Number one, we have no state income tax whatsoever. One of only 9 states. I think a lot of you think that, there are all these states out there with no state income tax. Florida is one of 9. And I know what other states you're thinking about moving to. You're thinking about going to North Carolina, Georgia, maybe Tennessee. Georgia, state income tax, 6%. North Carolina, state income tax, 6%. Tennessee, no state income tax, but they do tax you on certain gains that you have throughout the year as well. So Florida is actually one of the very few states where you don't have to pay any state income tax whatsoever. But then if you look at the property taxes, basically the same. Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, very similar when it comes to property taxes. Or maybe you're thinking, you know what, I'm sick of this heat down here. I'm moving back to New Jersey. I don't know if that's a great idea if you care about money. The average property tax in the state of New Jersey, you want to guess? $8,100 per year. Florida, about $1,800 per year. We're talking about $7,000 or $8,000 difference in property tax alone, and that's even before you start thinking about the state income tax. And also, Florida has a little bit of Georgia in it. Go to the Panhandle. You're going to think you're in Georgia. You want to live in Tennessee? Go to Lake County. We're lucky to be in Florida because there are so many different places. Miami and Orlando, totally different. Miami and Destin, we're talking about, we have a lot of different communities within the state of Florida where you can really find something that you're really looking for. And lastly, and I've talked to you about this many times, one of the reasons why the real estate market here is still so hot, it's 900 people a day moving to Florida. It's like creating the city or a city the size of Orlando every single year. And that number, I think, guys, is going to continue to go up as people want to leave the New York cities and some of the bigger cities. I think that number continues to increase. And that's why I am bullish and thankful that we're living here in Florida. And we haven't even talked about the beaches yet. I mean, think about the beaches. I mean, Florida is a really good place. And even though sometimes you might think it's expensive here, if you really look at the numbers, Florida is a reasonable place to live. And now it's time for Real Questions. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, I ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Today on the show, welcome back, Joe Takis. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much.
And Paul Young, great to have you. Thanks for coming. What's up? I don't know what we do anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's
all
confusing.
But
thanks for having me on the show.
No, pleasure to have you both. And Paul, let me start with you here. I mean, again, Visit Florida did not hire me. They do not pay me to sit here and say this. It's just, I feel like this is really how it is. I mean, what are you seeing down on the ground in the real estate world? Is Florida still hot?
Extremely. But the market today, I would say it's even hotter than it was before. Even going last year, we would get calls domestically from other cities, New York, California. Also Puerto Rico, doesn't matter, all over South America. But moving into this year, I would say it's even hotter than it was last year. It seems that every house that's listed properly is flying off the shelf. I mean, we're writing contracts with people out even seeing the houses.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Are you seeing people from other countries coming
Absolutely.
here as well? Even with what's going on pandemic-wise, are you still seeing people from other countries come to live here?
Absolutely. Within my office, we speak, it's growing every day, I swear, but probably 7 or 8 different languages.
It's shocking to me that we're here mid-pandemic, and before the show I said, what are you seeing? How's business? You're like, it's great. Paul's like, it's great. What are you really seeing?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it doesn't matter what real estate agent you ask currently, is everybody's kind of slammed, which is obviously a great thing. But a couple of really great positive things that are happening in the market, and Dallas can even allude to this as well, is interest rates are incredibly low, and that drives up affordability, which has been super promising. I mean, we've seen the interest rates decrease over the last year and a half. Every single month, almost like a whole tenth of a point. It's been wild.
It's like free money right now.
Yeah, it's nuts. So, the market pulse for July literally was sub 3% for all of the Orlando Association.
Unbelievable.
On there. So, I mean, it's been great. Affordability is awesome. There are tons of homes coming on the market, and I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
Well, a lot of times we like to address the market one of two ways: seller's market or buyer's market. And then sometimes it can be a seller's market at a certain level and a buyer market at a different level. What are you seeing? How would you describe the market?
There's really two things that's going on and why it's still a seller's market. And I say still because it's been that way for a long time. And it's really just inventory levels. Mm-hmm. They've continued to decrease. And I mean, if you're a seller at this time and you've been on the edge or the brink about thinking of even potentially, whether it's cashing out your equity or moving or downsizing, whatever it is, holy smokes. I mean, they've got so much power right now. And then the other second case of that is there's so many buyers that are looking for homes.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a lot of negotiation standards and practices that you can really utilize during that time as a seller.
And Paul, I mean, if you're working with someone from New York or whatever who's looking to come here and buy a house, they must have sticker shock that it's actually so inexpensive here compared to Connecticut, Jersey, New York, correct?
For sure. We had a guy that we helped to buy from New York City. not only was the price significantly lower of the home, but one thing you touched on in the beginning is his taxes. I mean, it's crazy. When he told me the taxes he was selling for the house in New York, it was if the house he was buying was in the low 300s, but he was paying taxes here like a $1.5 million house.
Right, exactly.
It was crazy. It was like $15,000 a year in taxes, and his taxes now are like $3,200, which is, you know, significant, and it's not even homesteaded yet. Yeah. So significantly lower, and he's getting a much bigger house than he had there too.
Exactly. Is there a price point here in Florida where the market does slow down a little bit for a seller?
You have to kind of go up.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really, it doesn't even, I mean, obviously when you're in the lower price points, I would say the low twos, you're dealing with investors as well, a lot of investors. But even in the 4s and 5s, if the house is marketed correctly, not every house flies off the shelf. So you have to hire the right person, obviously. But if the marketing's correct, the conditions are correct, and it's priced correctly, it can sell fast, and it doesn't matter if it's in, you know, in the high 4s in Winter Springs, or if it's in the 200s in Apopka or wherever, it can still move quickly. I mean, to really slow down, I would say you got to be pushing $1 million mark, really, because it's hot everywhere. But you got to hire the right person though to make sure you get top dollar.
100% agree.
Jill, let me ask you a question. Let's say I'm a family, a husband, wife, maybe one young child. We've been living in an apartment, and we see the interest rates. We're like, there's no reason we should keep throwing away our money every month on rent, especially when rates are 2.9%. I could easily buy a house. My mortgage payment's clearly going to be less than I was paying rent for the apartment. However, is there a sort of low starting point to entry to the market point, let's call it, that you know, this is sort of the least expensive house you're going to be able to buy, like a 3-2 for a small family? What is my entry point into the real estate market?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, first key factor is find the right real estate agent as well as your mortgage person. That having those two complement each other during that process is probably one of the most important key factors for many reasons that we won't really get into. But you know, it's really just dependent on what you need. If you're just trying to get in somewhere, build some equity, start paying down your mortgage. I mean, villas and townhomes, I've seen as low as, you know, $175. They're in very livable spaces that are safe for your family. Granted, do you have to get queued on the location? Sure. But
HOA.
HOAs and all that stuff you got to take care of. But I mean, there's a lot of creative ways and things that you can do to make sure that you're meeting those goals for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid point too, is a lot of people say, I want to get out of the apartment, I want my own house, but there is quite a difference between a townhouse or a villa and a regular condo or apartment, right?
No doubt, absolutely. And it's really just catered to the amount of units that are on there. So townhomes are usually 4 to 6. Condos are going to, you know, just as you know, apartments.
How do you, Paul, see the HOA fees differ when you look at condo versus townhome?
So number-wise, I would say you're probably looking in the low 3s, most condos. Townhouses, they can, I mean, obviously they vary per which building you're buying into. Townhouses, low 2s, maybe high 1s. Right. So as far as appreciation, that's a big thing too. So you're looking to buy a house, even though you're buying it to live in it, appreciation's a factor too. There are still some smaller single-family homes that you can get into as a first-time home buyer. And I know statistically you were saying, okay, 4 or 5% appreciation. I know personally people that I've helped buy and sell properties I own myself that are small single families that have seen 10 plus appreciation a year. Like put 5% down and was already at 20% loan to value within 1 year.
If I'm trying to get out of the rental life, would you recommend buying a townhouse at times for a young family that wants to live there as their primary residence?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I certainly would. I think there's advantages to having an HOA. I mean, townhouses, you're not taking care of roof, you're not taking care of pest control, they're taking care of your grass as well as all the stuff on the outside. So a lot of the times it just fits your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
it depends on the person, I would say. It depends on the person.
Absolutely.
What about for investment purposes? Do you recommend condo or townhouse for an investment?
My recommendation would be single family or multi-unit, duplex if you can find one, or a townhouse. But one thing when you're dealing with condo is you also have to think about the financing. So typically a condo, you're looking at cash or conventional loan. So that kind of limits the pool of potential people you can sell the house to, whereas a townhouse or a single family home or duplex, whatever it may be, you know, you're opened up to a VA loan, FHA, so, you know, there's a lot more people that could potentially buy the home from you.
And maybe you're watching right now and thinking, hey, I've owned this house for a while, I want to upsize or I want to downsize. And you know that your house needs a little bit of work before you sell it. But then, you know, it leads to the question, the age-old question is, how much do I spend fixing up my house that I'm about to sell, and is that going to really pay off for me in the end? And I think that's an important question. Let's switch gears a little bit to the seller side. And Joe, let me start with you. I mean, should I invest money in my house before I sell it, or should I just sell it as is?
So I don't mean for my first comment to be so vague, but it really just depends.
Call Joe Tack.
It really does, honestly. There's even been, so we've got condition ratings that we do and just try to act like an appraiser, but it really is just like, you could look at your floors and be like, man, I got to replace carpets. I could put some new fresh paint. But honestly, if you're in like the 250, 300 range, we just say get it on the market, because one, you're getting the most for it right now anyways, and two, stuff is flying off the shelf so fast, people are going to want to come into the home and do what they want to do to it next
make it their own.
Yeah, put their own paint, their own floors, do whatever they want. It's going to be fine.
Paul?
So, like you said, it greatly depends on the property. So, and that's a common question that us realtors will get. So we walk into a property, hey, should I change the color of this? Should I change the floors? Maybe should I put in granite? It all depends on the property. I mean, we do have connections with contractors that say, okay, I think if you do these few things, you'll get your money back.
Right.
The last thing we want you to do is spend money on something and not get the return.
I see that the market is hot, so I'm going to sell my house now while the market's hot, but I can't go live down at the dog kennel down the street, so I either have to buy or rent myself, of course. Ever think of maybe okay, the kids are finally going back to college, right? After seemingly home for 8 years, it feels like. And I want to sell my house because I feel like the market's kind of at the peak. I mean, what are you recommending? Are you recommending someone go buy something else now, or any thought of renting for a while to see what the market does? What would you recommend your client if they want to downsize?
Do what I would do personally. I mean, I would buy now as well. So it is I would say a seller's market, yes, but it's still very much a buyer's market too, because of the rates and all these other things that we're talking about. So, and with the amount of people that are moving here, appreciation is going up. Particularly if you're downsizing, it seems like those lower price points appreciate even faster. So if I was downsizing, I mean, that's part of our job to kind of guide you through that process of selling a house and then transitioning into the new house and making it seamless for you. But I would definitely buy now. I would not wait, for sure. I mean, you're going to buy that same house for 20 grand more in 6 months.
Joe, what do you think?
I've been doing a lot of those downsizings, honestly, and what I've personally seen, and this is kind of backed by metrics as well, is whenever people are downsizing, they're actually buying new, or relatively new. So there's a lot of attractiveness between, okay, let me sell my older house for maximum value, and even though I might pay a premium or overpay just a tad, I got a brand new house. So really just depends, but yeah.
And I think if you are downsizing, though, generally I think we can have a little bit more of a detailed debate about it, but I think because of where the interest rates are right now, even if you're overpaying for the smaller house a little bit, I think with the interest rates being so low, even if you decide to move down the road, you'll be able to rent that house and certainly make money off the rental payment later. So I think now I'm a big advocate of, even if downsizing, I think you still buy. I don't think you rent. I think because of where the rates are right now, a downsize should lead to another purchase. That's my feeling.
Completely agree.
And speaking of what is on the market, I know you two brought some awesome properties to show us here today. And Joe, let me start with you here. We've got this 14501, is it Grove Resort Avenue?
You got it. What an amazing little community.
Where is this?
This is over in Winter Garden. This is about 5 to, depending on traffic, right now it's 5 minutes to Disney. But it is over in Winter Garden, right off of the main strip there. There are tons of shops right next to Margaritaville, which is kind of like Jimmy Buffett's little thing, but it is a 3-3 luxury series condominium. Truthfully, 2 little master suites. The main master suite, though, as you can see here, has got a really nice tub, walk-in shower, an egregiously large master bath, as well as balcony view, and also a bay window that leads out to the balcony, which is supreme. So there's a little premium for this one because it is a 3-3, does have a balcony. It's all the way over on the edge, so it's more private. You're a corner unit, and it's just superb. This association has everything. They manage your property. They get people in there to rent it for you. Awesome. When you're not there vacationing. There's a water park at the resort. There's tons of restaurants. Truthfully, it's like endless. I like went there, was taking photos. I almost got lost there. I was like, man, I don't even want to go to Disney.
I'm by myself.
But really great little property.
Is this in the Margaritaville Resort or no?
No, it's not. It's in the Grove Resort. It's just right next to Margaritaville.
But it has its own restaurants and everything right there?
You got it. Right inside the resort.
And what is the price point on this beautiful condo, by the way?
Absolutely. So it's on the market right now for $389,900. They still are finishing a lot of the projects, but the thing I like about having something that's pre-existing is, one, you're already already in tune with everything that's already going on. You just move right on into the association. You don't have anything to buy, and everything in there is the same, whichever unit you get. So all of the furnishings are included. There's that awesome little bar that's out there, and everything. So.
Awesome place, huh?
Thank
And
you
now,
so much,
does
man.
someone buy this that wants to live there, or is this an investment?
Pure investment. He did it as a vacation home, and getting rid of it and deciding to do a couple others. So.
And are there any do you have any rental history or anything that you could show, or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I'd be happy to share that with you guys for sure.
It looks like a great little investment. Certainly, also it's an investment that they're going to do the renting for you. It sounds, and you don't really have to. You just go there when you want to hang out.
Exactly.
The rest of the month they're going to rent it for you, and hopefully cover the mortgage and all the fees and expenses. Maybe even make a little bit of money.
That's the goal.
Right. If you have a question, you'd like to see this investment property, give Joe a call right now at 407-205-0400. Thank you very much, Joe. Paul, I know you have a couple places to show us as well.
Yes, I
We're
do.
going to start, is it Valley Creek Run?
Yes, sir.
All right, where is this?
It's in Winter Park.
Sweet.
So this property completely renovated from top to bottom, like literally everything. Floors, granite. You can see the kitchen's custom made, quartz countertops. So technically this one is a flip, but the good thing about it is that everything is pretty much like buying a brand new house. So one thing with this house is, yes, it was on the market, but believe it or not, it actually already sold. So
Wow.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. So the cool this story is a little bit unique though. So like we were saying, having the right people represent you can get the property to go fast. This house actually ended up selling, I think it was about $40,000 more than any house in that neighborhood has ever sold for. And not only did it do that, but multiple offers within a couple days. It actually sold $16,000 above appraisal. So the buyer actually brought an extra $16,000 above the appraisal because they wanted this house that bad. But it's a unique property. We actually have some other ones similar to this one coming on the market. It's a gorgeous house. Obviously, very desirable area because it's in Winter Park.
Are you allowed to tell us what it sold for?
Yeah, sold for $455.
Oh, that's not too bad. How big is it? How big is it?
It is 2871.
And fancy too. I mean,
Very
that's
fancy.
a very modern sort of
Yes.
Winter Park house right there.
That's a beautiful flip.
Outside, it looks sort of like the traditional Florida home, but inside, that's modern.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and actually, it even has a butler's closet behind there too. That has a microwave and everything. Yeah, it's
Nice.
It's pretty. That's part of the reason why it flew off the shelf. But it's a gorgeous house. But we do have some same flipper coming up soon.
Right
as
around
well.
there. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, Paul, now 1544 Skyline Drive. Where is this one?
So this one is in Kissimmee. So if you're looking near the Disney area, those who like to fish, this is actually very close to Lake Toho, which if anybody that watches fishing or anything like that, Bassmasters, a bunch of annual fishing tournaments are there. One of the number one, if not the number one, fishing location in the whole country. So this property, one of the keys with this one that makes it a little bit unique is that actually there's a property attached to it, smaller lot behind it. So the lot is almost twice as big as everybody else in the neighborhood. The property is a little bit over 3,000 square feet. There's a couple rooms in there that don't count as bedrooms because they don't have a closet, but there's extra rooms in the house too. It already has 4 bedrooms. It actually, so I know you touched on solar. This house actually just had solar installed as well. Came on the market. Actually, this one is also under multiple offers. So if you're looking for one like this one or the other one in Winter Park, make sure you give us a call because unfortunately we sell homes fast.
You're saying it's a good market.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a good market.
With houses moving that quickly, though, it means if you do call Joe or Paul right now, there are going to be other ones, new listings that do pop up. So call us now, 407-205-0400. Joe Takas, Paul Young, thank you very much for being here. That was
Absolute
awesome.
pleasure,
Could you
man.
stick around for the real estate roundtable, though? Some people have some questions we need to answer.
Absolutely.
Do you want to feature your home for free on our show? My name is Vivian Lehman with You Have Realty, and we've come up with a comprehensive marketing strategy to get your home sold quickly. Whether buying or selling, we have all the resources for your real estate transaction: builder, insurance, title, mortgage, and we might even know Justin Clark. All under one roof. Call us at 407-205-0400.
All right, and without further ado, it's time for your portion of the program. It's time for the Real Estate Roundtable. every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate. I answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page at You Have Real Estate. Put your question in right there, and we might just address it on the TV show next week. Let's start with Brienne in Winter Park. She must have been watching earlier, actually. Yeah. Is it cheaper overall to live in North Carolina or Florida? Guys, what do you think?
I guess it depends on which part of North Carolina.
Location.
Yeah, so it kind of depends. I mean, me personally, I'm from the Virginia area. My whole family's military, so been in North Carolina. My brother's actually relocating there. I would rather live in Florida all day, every day, over North Carolina, personally.
And North Carolina is beautiful. I really think it's similar. I think the cost of living in North Carolina versus here is similar, very comparable. Yeah. Certainly no state income tax here. Definitely state income tax in North Carolina. If you look at the median home values for both states, they're close.
Yeah,
I think it's very, very similar.
No doubt.
All right, Tony in Claremont, do you see Central Florida real estate continuing to climb? What do you think?
Absolutely, I sure do. Hate to say it, but I think the election's going to have a pretty, big weighing on everything on that, especially moving on forward. But yeah, I mean, we've been optimistic, especially since the first show.
Yeah,
everybody was like, "What's going to happen with COVID and the economy and everything going on?" And it's still been great, and we certainly don't see it to being able to do that. And interest rates is a big ticket there.
I completely agree. Yeah,
if anything, it's gotten even a little bit better or stronger since we first started this pandemic. We are in a pandemic, but certainly not a real estate crisis. That's for sure.
Well, you got to think about Orlando, Central Florida. We're growing. I mean, other parts of the country maybe not, but here people are coming here. So I definitely see us continuing to rise.
Agreed.
Rhonda and Osteen, are rural prices on the increase as well? And does it take me longer to sell a house here in a rural area? What do you think?
Well, it kind of depends on which part of Florida you're in, a rural part, but I wouldn't say it makes a huge difference, no, because I mean there's still quite a few people that are looking to be in all over Central Florida. I mean and particularly in some parts, I mean, you can get the USDA loan, so that's 100% financing. That kind of opens up your options. So I wouldn't say it has a huge effect on you being not in the middle of a city, no.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just based on the availability and the desire of the current consumer, right? So I think there's a little bit more of time on the market. I know there is just a tad, but it's not something to where it should endanger you or fear you from going on the market now.
No, we've got about 30 seconds. Skip in Volusia County says, I'm thinking about moving down to Orlando. Any affordable areas you can recommend? Joe?
Anywhere in Central Florida.
Well, it depends on what you consider affordable. There's a couple places. The Azalea Park area. It's a little bit east of downtown Orlando. There's some really good properties that are pretty affordable in Apopka as well. And there's a lot of different little pockets that you can find. But that's part of choosing the right realtor, because we will show you all your best options.
Great suburbs all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent job, Joe Takis with Core Group. Nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Paul Young Real Estate. Great to meet you, sir. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you both. I think it was a great show.
I think so.
Amazing show, and thank you again as always.
You got it. I'm heading to Dallas Lehman's house now for some crab boil, but if you want to get pre-approved, he is still there now, waiting on me to get there. Call him at 407-205-0400. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're interested in selling your house as well, give us a call. We're happy to take a look at it and see exactly what you need to do to really maximize that value or pre-approval. Again, it's Dallas Lehman. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you next week for You Have Real Estate.